Hi everybody. Today I am going to be planning out the week of August 8th through the 14th, 2022 in my Makselife vertical undated planner. I am coming back from a trip. I had talked about it quite a bit in some previous videos, and I just need to kind of update you because a lot of things changed between when I filmed those videos and when I went on the trip. This is my Makselife. Like I said, I have got a pilot file liner for my just regular pen. And then I'm using a Fern Creek stickers kit. It's like a rainbow situation. I just thought that that would be fun for this week. I've also got my slice tool in case I need it, tweezers, and some Krissyanne Designs stickers just in case they are necessary. But let's just get going. This pen should also work on these stickers just fine because they're the matte sticker paper. Let's talk about the week I just had. So we were going on a week-long trip to Bend, Oregon, and the original plan was that Jess and I, the kids were already in California visiting with their dad and friends and so on and so forth. This is my angled palette knife from Michael's that I use as a washi tape cutter. We were going to go on this trip for to visit my sister. We hadn't done this since we hadn't seen her in Bend for 3 years, since 2019. So originally our plan was to go for Christmas in 2020, but we all know what happened in 2020 and we weren't able to go, which was a big bummer. So we were very looking forward to it. Well, we didn't want to board Layla because she hasn't done that yet. We haven't gotten her to a place where we would be comfortable boarding her yet. So, I'm just dividing my planner like the way I always do with washi tape. I'm going to be doing blood pressure along the top and weather along the top, and then along the bottom will be meals. And then I want to divide this for two, one for potential workout and one for plants. You know what? I think I'm going to divide off, since I have these extra strips, I'm going to divide off for the to-do list as well, because I don't have a ton of appointments this week, but I will have a lot of to-dos, so it just makes sense that I divide that up, especially since I have the extra strip. Anyway, where was I at? I keep starting this train of thought, and I keep losing it. So, our original plan was that we were going to, the kids were already in California, they were going to fly to Bend to spend some time just with my sister and brother-in-law, like they did last year when we were moving to Denver. And then we would join them, and we would not be boarding Layla, our dog, because she's still nervous around people. Like, she's getting a lot better, like making a ton of progress, but she still can be a little shy around people she doesn't know. And we haven't yet, our goal is to get her into some form of a doggy daycare a couple times a week for her own enrichment, because she loves being around other dogs. But also because then we could hopefully board her at the same place if we ever needed to. So getting her used to that would be really important. I can never get these down straight on the first try. So we were going to bring her with us. Our original intention was to drive out there over the course of 3 days, because it's about an 18-hour drive, maybe 20-hour drive from Denver to Bend, going via up through Wyoming and then across Utah into Idaho and then into Oregon. And so we had it divided into 3 legs. The first leg being the same drive we made when we were moving out here after we had to buy the new car. I'll link that video where I talk about that, because that was a fucking intense trip. Anyway, so the 8 hours, and this is 8 hours as the map, the Google Maps and whatnot, they estimate however long it's going to take. That doesn't count bathroom breaks and dog pee-pee breaks and kidney disease pee-pee breaks and so on and so forth. So yeah, 8 hours as the maps call it, from Denver area to Salt Lake City. And then we would go the second day from Salt Lake City, another 8 hours or so as the maps tell it, to Boise. And then from Boise to Bend. And that, again, as the maps tell it, is only about a 5-hour drive. as we were going to take Layla with us, and we were going to stay in an Airbnb that was dog friendly. And my other sister and her kids and husband and my uncle were all going to be showing up as well. It'll be the first time we were all there together in 3 years. It'll be my baby sister's birthday, so we were going to get to celebrate with her. We haven't celebrated my baby sister's birthday with her for 15 years. She was pregnant with my nibbling, who just turned 15 this year. He's almost exactly a year younger than RJ. And this was the year that we went up to Terrebonne, which is a tiny little town outside of Bend. Technically, it's outside of Redmond, which is up outside of Bend. But we went up there for my grandparents' 50th anniversary when my mom was still alive. And then that was the last big event we spent together as a family, I believe. Because I don't think my mom was able to come up for Christmas. I know she wasn't able to come up for Thanksgiving because that's when we wound up with the info from my mom died that following February. That was the original plan. And our plan was to drive up there in 3 days, spend a week, and drive back in 3 days. Then the kids are flying back this week at the end of the week because we wanted to give them the time it was going to take us to drive plus a day. Again, going back to our trip here to Denver, we wound up having to spend an extra day in Salt Lake City because I wound up having car problems and we wound up just replacing my car. And even though I didn't anticipate that happening this trip, we just wanted to make sure that in case something happened, somebody was here to pick up the children from the airport. I'm going to just fill the weather in. I actually had to go onto the yesterday's weather website for a couple of the days because I'm filming this a little bit deeper into the week than I normally do because I was not here. I think I'm going to use the orange marker. I really like how I've ever done my actions for the week. I like how the orange looks with the orange on this rainbow kit because it's a little softer than a bright rainbow. Yeah, that looks good. I mean, I could do a rainbow theme, but I don't want to because that's a lot of work. Anyway, so it was going fine. It's going to plan. My kids flew up to California, from California to Bend, and so I'm putting plants and walking Layla. This is going to be my exercise for the day, and I can't believe I just wrote walk Layla. I guess that's what I'm doing tomorrow instead of getting on the Peloton. I guess we'll see. And if my voice sounds a little scratchy, there was some wildfire activity in Oregon, and there was quite a bit of smoke. So I'm still kind of recovering from the smoker's cough. I'm also going to just put fend for yourself here because I ate at the airport and Jesse ate whatever at home. And then here we ate out. Everything was going fine. My kids flew up to Oregon. Jess and I were getting ready for our trip. Then two things began to happen simultaneously. Well, maybe I should also back up and say that this trip to Oregon was going to be already a little rough because it turned out that this summer has been really rough on my grandma. She's in her 80s. She's 88. Her birthday is actually today as I'm filming this. And she was not doing very well to the point where my cousin and my uncle and other family that were up there wound up having to move her. She was staying in a senior living home, but she was in basically full independent living, right? She could call for help if she needed it, but generally speaking, she handled her own going to meals. She was in charge of her own medications. And apparently she was at a point where that was not working anymore. And she has some various health problems going on, some that are more exacerbated because of her failing. Certain parts of her mental state are becoming a little bit harder on her. Some of the medications she's on are causing some dementia-like symptoms. And she has a very large aortic aneurysm, which they can't really do anything about because because she's so fragile, one of the surgeries that could fix it would very likely kill her. The other surgery that could fix it, or at least put stents in it, because it's so big, they said it's a very high chance that she will lose her transplant kidney, which is still going strong despite being 18 years. And it's a cadaver kidney, which means she got it from somebody who passed away, not a living donor, which normally those don't last anywhere near as long. So the fact that her kidney's been going so strong, like, I don't blame her for not wanting to lose it. Do you know what I'm saying? I really don't blame her for that. I'm gonna take this orange one and put it right here. So grandma have been in the hospital. They were able to move her to a different old folks home, basically, except this one she's moved into the assisted living portion of it so that she has someone to help her with her medications and everything else. So that was already a situation. Like, I already knew that when I was there, I was going to just fly up there and see her ASAP when this was all starting to going down at the beginning of July. But then she got COVID on top of everything else. She had gone to a physical therapy appointment, and then the next day, the physical therapist tested positive, and then she tested positive. And thankfully, she got through it. Hella vaccinated, grandma. Go, grandma. But I didn't want to fly up there and catch it because, that would suck for me as, somebody with kidney failure, which my grandma understands because it's genetic kidney disease. So she also has the same kidney disease. So I was going to fly up there. So my goal was, when we were up there visiting, that my babies, like my sisters and I, would all drive the 3 hours across the mountain to Portland, right? And go see her and just have us go and leave the kids with, Jesse, the dog, my brothers-in-law, and all 4 kids. Although Sonny's technically an adult now, but whatever. They're still one of the kids. They're going to hate that, though. Whatever. Yeah, so have us go, and then have us 3 go see grandma, and then have everyone else stay in bed, and then my uncle would join us because he lives in Vancouver, across the river in Washington State, and is actually very close to where my grandma lives now. This is also, in case you have not followed my entire family history on this channel, my uncle is actually my mom's brother, and this is my dad's mom. My mom's parents are already passed away. My dad and all of his siblings are already passed away. My Uncle Rich, my mom's brother, took an oath, maybe is not the right word, but he did promise my dad's dad, my Grandpa John, did promise that he would keep an eye on my grandma and to make sure that she was okay. So that is what he did and what he's been doing. And I'm just going to take this and just stick it flat here because I don't have a pink sticker for a habit tracker to go over that to say like this week or today or whatever. So I'm just going to fully cover this up for Roomba because I need to get back on that since I've been gone. So I was already stressed out about this trip a little because I was worried about my grandma who's not doing so hot. And side note, now I just found out that she's going back into the hospital for something, so fingers crossed that whatever it is, is gonna come out okay. I mean, again, who knows, right? So that was the start of like the stress about all of this. Then 2 things. So that was the kind of the preview to this. The kids get to Oregon and 2 things start happening simultaneously. 1, Jesse starts making some comments about how he is really, really stressed about this trip, specifically the 6 days of driving, because like a big work thing has come up, and this particular time he was taking vacation is a really crucial time with work that he's responsible for, and that if he took the time off, then chances are he would be not only working on his vacation, but living the regretful lifestyle after the fact. So he started making some suggestions, I guess I would say, about him potentially not going. Because the problem is, if we wanted to fly instead of drive, we would have to figure out what to do with Layla, because we weren't going to like have her, aside from the fact that she's not ready to be boarded, she's also really not ready to be flown in like the belly of an airplane, right? And so we were just stressed about what we would do with her. But the time on the road, especially considering that there's not going to be a lot of service on the road, so he couldn't like work in the car. There's been times where we've driven and he's worked in the car and he's been fine because we've had data. But from what we learned on our drive out here, data is very spotty driving through a lot of this area. So he was getting really worried, and he started asking me if potentially I would be okay just going and flying and going by myself, and him working and then moving his vacation to later in the year. And I was really upset about that because I'll be real with you. I was extremely upset about that because I've been looking forward to going on this trip with him and with Layla and going on. I love road trips, and I love road tripping with Jesse. I'd actually fill in some of these habits because I've done them already. I did get my water on these days. Did not Peloton or swim, but I'm going to give myself the check mark for Monday because I walked so much that day in the airport, and I have been on top of Hot Wallet Summer, which I will be doing an update soon. These are back planning days because I've already done these. For Monday, because it was mostly a driving day, I drove back. I'll explain in a second. So he was really thinking that he wanted to not go, and I was really, really upset because I was like, what the fuck, dude? And so I think we had been at a point where we were like, you know what? He's just going to go and we're going to make it work. Not the most ideal situation, because if you've ever had to work on like your vacation, then you know that that's just, it sucks, man. It's not a pleasant experience. And that basically was what we were all worried about. He and I, at least, were all worried about. I don't know, the kids probably were not. We weren't even involving the kids in this conversation at this point. Grab one of these little purple, tiny little car icons from my Krissyanne Designs stickers, and I'm going to throw that on here and just put drive to Portland. Or maybe we'll just put the car. We'll just put the car. Except it's small, I should have kept using the tweezers. Fuck. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I was all prepared to, I'm just gonna use this rainbow sticker for my flight. I was all prepared to drive with Jesse and just deal with it. And then I got a call from my sister. So I'm not going to go too deeply into this. This really isn't my story to tell. My brother-in-law got sick in a very scary way. Not COVID. I just fucked up and I hate it. I can't even look at it. Thinks I hate it. It was not just a physical sick. It was physical and mental. If you are at all on antidepressants, then you have probably been warned about serotonin syndrome. And that is the diagnosis that they are going with. And I'm just going to make my list of all the things I did that day to make myself feel better. So here on my list of everything I did that day includes returning the rental car, going to see my grandma before I left, and picking up a prescription for Sunny, and getting my grandma a cinnamon roll for her birthday, which is today, but I wasn't going to be there because I'm here, obviously. So there's Monday. Monday's done. My brother-in-law has been in the hospital for quite some time now, and it's been very scary for various reasons. And because of that, everything changed for our trip, right? I did not know what to do. I wasn't sure if I should fly out. Originally, my sister and brother-in-law were going to take my kids to the coast the weekend that Jess and I were driving. I'm using this sticker here because I spent most of yesterday sleeping. At least the first half of the day I spent sleeping. And then the second half of the day, I did tidy up because the cleaners were coming. I'm also going to put the I'm sick of human voices, Steve, because after my long travails, I was so done. All right, so for Wednesday, which is today, the cleaners were here. Pest control's coming today. And then I was walking Layla for both her morning and her afternoon walks so Jesse could handle some meetings that he had. So it's basically like, oh, and I had to get cash today, which I got first thing this morning. Brother-in-law has been in the hospital, and it just changed our whole kind of calculus about the trip. So originally, my sister and my brother-in-law were going to take the kids to the coast. So the first thought was that because he was going to still be in the hospital, my sister thought, well, why don't you come out early and take the kids to the coast? Well, I only have so much energy in me to travel. So I talked to the kids, and the kids were both, really not wanting to leave. They wanted to be there so that my sister wasn't coming home to an empty house. They wanted to be there for her. I love those kids. They're so great. Again, my baby sister's birthday was this past weekend, and my kids were very, very adamant that we still celebrate Becca's birthday with her. And so they both were like, no, you're going to just come because they also know me well enough to know that I did not have enough energy to both come out for the weekend, go to the coast, and go stay for another weekend and go to the fair. They just thought, you know what, Mom, we'll stay here so that Amy's not by herself. You come the dates you were going to come, and we'll hang out and we'll have fun, and we'll do the best that we can. And so I was like, okay, like I can live with that. I'm gonna grab another car because I need to go. I actually went already, but I wanted to go to Walgreens today to pick up the medications I ordered yesterday, because I have to basically live at Walgreens, it feels like sometimes, and this little spot will fill in perfectly with just that little car. The only thing I finished so far, I'm in the middle of laundry, but getting cash for the tip for the cleaners. And I have now officially caught up to my life. Anyway, so they decided, the kids thought it would be a better idea if we just skipped the coast, and I came out there when I was going to come out, but I flew. And I decided, rather than fly into Redmond, which is outside of Bend, where my sister lives, flying into Redmond direct is difficult. There's only one airline that flies direct into Redmond from Denver, and that's United. The flights are more expensive, and getting a rental car there, especially only a week out from going, is next to impossible. They only have 3 rental car places that I could find, and they were all booked out. So what I decided to do was fly into Portland, which is 3 hours away, but I can fly Southwest. I flew direct Southwest, and I was able to get a car for inexpensive and just do it that way. I flew in and stayed in that area when I first got there so I could go see my grandma. And I spent some time with her on that Monday. And then the next day before I drove off, I went and spent some more time with her. Then I drove to Bend, the 3-hour drive. I spent the week with the kids and my sisters and my uncle. And we had a good time. It was hard. It was not the most perky of visits, but it was good to be with my family. I got to see my brother-in-law. Got to spend a lot of time hugging my sister. My sister's mother-in-law was in town also to help with her son who's in the hospital, and then spend time with the kids. And then I drove back to Portland, visited my grandma again, and then went to the airport where I spent the next 85 years because my flight kept getting delayed. And then we didn't actually get home. I did not walk in the door until 2:30 in the morning. I was so tired. That's why I slept all day on Tuesday. That was the change in our trip. So the trip, no road trip, no Jesse. He stayed home and worked. No Layla. And it was a lot more of a somber trip than I expected. And we still don't have answers. He's making progress. He is making progress, which is a good thing. So keep your fingers crossed for him. And I'm really worried about my grandma. But suffice it to say that life in the Guentert-Baldo household has been very stressful. And then next week, in less than a week, RJ's back at school. So, yeah. Anyway, I'd also asked the kids if they wanted to fly back with me, and they both said they wanted to stay for the rest of the week so that, they were still there for my sister. So they're such good kids. I love them. I'm good. I got this. Okay, so Thursday, I don't think I have anything on my books on Thursday. I am just going to make the assumption that I'm going to walk Layla both times on Thursday as well to give Jesse as much, freedom as possible as he can to work. So I'm just going to put those in there. Just going to make an assumption. An ass out of me and me. Notice I'm not even putting down like video stickers because like this video is going to go up on Thursday and I don't have anything for Sunday. I lost once, like I was supposed to be getting so much work done right before I left. I had a whole list and I was all like, yeah, I'm going to be good. There'll be 3 things going up per week, blah, blah, blah. And then I got the news about my brother. I was already like messed up about my grandma, but I wound up getting the news about my brother-in-law and holy shit, I couldn't anymore. I was like, have you ever been in like a place where you're coping with like something and you just sort of stare off into space and you stare off into space. You don't really have pretty much anything going on. Like you should put this out too. Trash day. Yeah. It's been a really hard time and I was not able to do anywhere near the work I wanted to get done because it wasn't that I didn't have the time. I did have the time. I just couldn't focus. And that's, I guess, a good thing that I work for myself. So it wasn't really that big of a deal, but it kind of was because like I have, if I don't work, I don't get paid. So I'm going to be trying to get back on track, but it's just, let me know in the comments if you've ever been through something that's really just tough, family-wise or friend-wise or loved one-wise, no matter who your loved ones are. Like, let me know how you cope with that because my coping has been to stare off into space, watch the House of the Dragon trailer over and over again, and read Reddit. All right, so what I'm putting here is fucking work because I really need to get some catch-up time on work. And even though this is not my work planner, I don't want to schedule a lot. Fucking work. All right. Now, if I look at my weekly actions for the week, I got plants on there. I wrote down wok recipe for today. I want to spend some time on Pinterest deciding what wok recipe I want to cook next week. Oh my God. Fucking crooked. Fucking work. Fucking crooked. All right. So I just put laundry time kids sheets because I want to get those done and get their beds made before they come back on Thursday. And then I need to check them in. I need to pay for their bags. I think I can do that ahead of time. Otherwise, I just need to remind them. They have to be at the airport at the butt crack of dawn on Friday. So I just want to make sure that's done so I don't have to worry about it. I need to make my grocery list. I'm just making my list for tomorrow now. If I want to fucking work, these are the things I'm going to work on that are not work. Look at that. It's already all filled in. Hell yeah. Okay. So we're moving forward to Friday. So Friday, the kids get to the airport. They'll be flying in at the ass crack of dawn. And then after I pick them up, they're going to come back and go to sleep. And I think what I want to do on Friday is hit the Botanic Gardens early. And then I'm not going to buy my ticket yet because they usually have a ton. You have to get yours in advance to be able to go to the Botanic Gardens they've been doing that since COVID. And I'm a member, so it's free. I just have to reserve a spot. But I'm not worried about there being spots open. I don't want to reserve the ticket and then have them be late. I mean, to be fair, usually flights that are early in the morning don't tend to run late the way that nighttime flights, which I normally don't try to fly that late like I did on Monday, but that was just because I wanted to go see my grandma. That was what made the most sense. So I think what I'm going to do is pick up the kids early, drop them off, and then go to the let them go sleep, and then go to the Botanic Gardens, and then after the Botanic Gardens, go to the grocery store. Because the Botanic Gardens are actually right over by the Trader Joe's I like to go to. Or one of the Trader Joe's I like to go to. Because I really want to go while shit's in bloom. And I don't even know if shit is still in bloom with how hot it's been here. Like, most of my shit died. So, me time. Plus, I actually do have a little work I could do at the Botanic Gardens. There is some photos I want to take of some reference photos of certain flowers. So, if they have them in bloom there, I'm hella going to take those pictures and then go grocery shopping. And I'm just going to leave the rest of it blank. I wanted to put date night in on Thursday, but I just don't know. With all the work Jesse has to do this week, I'm not sure if date night is going to happen. And then Saturday, I want to wash the sheets and do some cleaning. Just make sure that the kids' laundry is done. RJ is ready for school. All of those good things. We'll put this little laundry basket here to wash my sheets. Jesse said he washed them and they seemed clean, but who knows, right? And I know sometime in this area, we are going to be going to the dog park at the state park that's nearby. We're not quite there yet. I don't have anything else I want to add there for right now, and I'm gonna leave Sunday blank. I'm still taking Sunday off, even though my vacation went a little bit shorter than expected because we're going to be getting ready for school starting the next week, and I need to figure out how to check RJ in because he missed it because he was out of town. So, anyway, so that was kind of the story of my trip. Not the story of what happened on my trip, but the story of what happened to my trip. I will likely do another video soon, or in my first live stream back, which will be the 21st. It's going to be a live show, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So 3:30 p.m. Pacific, or 3:30 p.m. Mountain Time, actually. Be there, be square here on the channel. But yeah, it's been really hard around here, and so I really would appreciate the thoughts that you've got. Any thoughts and tots and pairs, right? But like just in general, let me know in the comments how you cope when things are really hard in your family and or your friends, your loved ones, and just wish us luck that we're getting through these tough days right now. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, friends, peace.